Hi everyone, this is one speaking. I'm really happy to welcome you all to the first part of the cinematic journey of Thalapathy Vijay. So in this first part, we'll be covering Thalapathy Vijay's career from 1992 to 2002. So from Nali Tirbu to around Bhagavati Vasigara. We call it the lover boy era. In this part, we'll be focusing more on his films that he did earlier in his career and how, as fans, we love him and we are inspired by him as well.
So, first, introduce yourself. Tell me your name, where you're living right now. How did you become a Vijay fan? Or what is the first Vijay film experience that you had?
My name is Hareesh. I live in Toronto, Canada, and my first Vijay film I saw was Sachin, but like I don't remember anything. But it was more of Pokiri, because two of my aunts, my mom's sister, they came from Sri Lanka to Canada to live here. They're the ones who introduced me to Vijay films. So Pokiri was the first film. It was from Pokiri, from that film when I became a huge fan of him. So I used to imitate his mannerism, dance in family functions, and even at school. Because at school everyone knows me as a big Vijay fan, and even my family function. My families, they all know me as a huge fan of Vijay. So I finished my studies. I studied broadcasting, TV broadcasting, and I'm currently working related to that field. So இன்னும் ஒரு கொஞ்சம் வருஷத்துல I hope everything is settled.
சொந்தமா ஜானா வைக்க போறியா?
No.
Hi, my name is Jeeva. I just graduated from University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and currently right now I'm going to be working soon at Deloitte. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and the one film that introduced me to Vijay was Ghilli. I saw it when I was like 3 months old, and that was probably like one of the most riskiest things I've ever done because as an infant, you can't bear the noise and banter. And I gotta say, it was like one of the most incredible theatrical experiences ever. Though I did cry a lot because I was a baby back then. But growing up, Vijay has inspired me to not lose hope and motivate my life day by day. One of the films that really, cured my depression a lot, and I think it's obvious for everyone, is of course Master, because that film, released after the whole COVID pandemic happened, and that was when I was like truly depressed, and so living JD's life is like what I would really do if I was just jobless and lazy, but. Unfortunately, I'm living the boring life as now a person that's going to enter through the working field. So that's a little bit about me.
My name is Shajini, but in English it's Shajini. So I got introduced to Vijay in a funny way. So I had like an Angren cassette set. So I was a year old, and my uncle introduced me to one of the songs from Kushi, Oru Ponnu. And then when I was vibing to it, and then I told him to play it again. So I was keep on tapping him. I was like telling him to play the song again. I told him to play it, rewind it, like for like a whole hour. So after that I was introduced to most of his movies. So I think that's where I got my Vijay craze fan. And I'm currently a social service worker based in Toronto.
My name is Sindhu. I am in the Netherlands. My first movie that I introduced. Okay, my English is not that good, but like okay.
No worries. Go ahead. You can even speak in Tamil. No issues.
Okay.
நாங்க எல்லாரும் தமிழர்கள்.
Okay, and I study pharmacy assistant.
Okay.
And the first movie that was introduced for me was Vijay. It was Tirumala.
Oh.
And I don't know what really like inspired me, but like I looked to the screen and I was like, I'm gonna be a fan of you. And since then I really love him. So since then that was my beginning. I don't know, I think I was 7 years old in the time. So yeah, that was actually the thing.
That's the beginning.
Yeah, that's the beginning.
So now, so my name is Asmitha, and initially
I wasn't actually a Vijay fan. I was a Surya fan. Like I loved him so much. I'm still am. But like she introduced me to Vijay because she is crazy about Vijay. So we will watch Adi so many times per week. Like it's crazy. Like I can almost like know all the dialogues that they will say just because of her. But then you know, Pokri and all the like the iconic movies, you just love him. And so initially I became a Vijay fan. Like it's crazy now. But I really liked Gila was like the first theatrical release here in the Netherlands. Gila, toch? Yeah. Gila. So and it was so stunning, like the music and seeing him on the big screen was like so weird because we only saw it on the TV. So that was actually the first thing. And after that, every release is like a whole festival here too. So yeah, and I'm a dental assistant right now. I mean, not right now. It's the last year. Like I'm graduating. So yeah, and we live in the Netherlands.
Hi, my name is Vijay. You can call me Vicky as well. And I work as an actor, voice actor, and translator. அதாவது like in the courts and the மாதிரி ஸ்கூல்ஸுக்கு போயிட்டு Tamil to French or English might பண்ணுவேன். And yeah, so I'm based around Montreal in Canada. நான் இப்போ விஜய் ஃபேன் ஆனேன்னா actually I grew up watching Rajini, Vijay, Kamal, Ajit, all Prashant, all the movies. And I enjoyed Friends, Vasigara, those Bhagavati, those a lot. But Tirumala was the one that really changed me, I would say. Like, I saw a completely different Vijay in that I could see myself a lot. I felt like I could see myself a lot in the Vijay in that movie, at least look-wise. And then, one thing I loved about Vijay so much that I feel defines him from other actors is that the on-screen persona he has at that time. And the மாதிரி, எவ்வளவு பிரச்சனைங்க வந்தாலும் எவ்வளவு ஆப்போசிஷன் வந்தாலும் அது வந்து எதிர்த்து ஒரு பாசிட்டிவ் ஆட்டிடியூடோட he just keeps striving, right? அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு கோல், ஒரு ambitious mindset, like this like a sportsmanship kind of that persona. That's what drew me to Vijay so much, because I was a kid lacking confidence and everything, and I would just look up to him and be like, yeah, I want to strive to be him kind of thing. So Tirumala and Ghilli, those are the ones that really changed me. Those were the ones where you can see a lot of that Vijay persona in it. And obviously, my favorite dialogue of him would thus be the one from his intro scene in Adi, the one where he says, "Prachane illada manushanum illa, prachane illada manishane illa." And the whole monologue he gives, that's my most favorite, I would say. Even now, like that still stands out for me on the Madri.
No, I rewatched Adi, and I think that film deserves more love. Recently,
Yes,
I rewatched
true.
it. I think it's a well-packed action entertainer. It was actually the most violent Vijay film before Leo.
One of the most violent, yeah.
Yeah, one of the most violent, yeah.
I mean, it sounds like I'm a senior statesman here. A lot of you guys are starting off with Tirumala and Ghilli and stuff. Actually, like when I was growing up, my introduction to Tamil cinema and me starting to watch Tamil cinema also kind of aligned with Vijay's career picking up. So I grew up in the 90s. And so when I was a kid, at my home, like my mom was a very, very aggressive, avid Rajinikanth fan. So like when we went to theaters and stuff, like we'd go to watch Rajini movies and stuff. So when I was growing up, I was introduced to Rajini and Kamal. And that generation, those stars, those were like the movies that was like, hey, we have to do it, must do at the home. Outside of that, like I would watch, so the first Vijay movie I ever watched was actually Once More in theaters with my parents and my extended family when I was visiting India. And so for me, that was a little bit of a change of pace from like the Rajinis and the Kamals. It was a little bit more younger blood, like a little bit more entertaining. And what really caught my eye was his ability to dance. It was a little bit more energetic watching his movies and his songs. A lot of those movies didn't really hit off the way, like, movies at that time were doing. Obviously, like in an era where Rajini and Kamal dominated, like there was glimpses of Vijay here and there. But like songs like Mac Macarena and like I don't know how many of you guys know the song Akude from like.
Oh yeah.
Nidaveva, yes.
So like growing up, like watching those type of songs, like he was just different from everybody else. So it was very captivating. So I always had like kind of a attraction to his performances, especially because of the songs. He had very catchy songs back in the day. Budgie songs were crazy, all of that. So when I became a very strong Vijay fan would be when Youth came out with Alto to so that song, that from there, it was like, okay, yeah, Rajini's good, Kamal is good, Prashant, all these guys are good, but Vijay is the guy. So that's when my love for Vijay and my fandom for Vijay really started with that movie. And obviously, right on the tails of that, Bhagwati came, Ghilli came, Tirumali. So there was that phase between about 2002 to 2003, ending with Sachin, where like it was nonstop, like, great classic movies of Vijay. And then after that, it was set in stone that I'm a Vijay fan.
Mm.
So about me, like I live in Florida. I'm a doctor here in Central Florida. Grew up in California. Went back to Chennai actually for med school, and then came back to California, but moved for work to Florida. So I live in Florida currently.
Hey everyone, வணக்கம் எல்லாருக்கும். So yeah, my name is Ashwin Tyagarajan, and about me, so right now I work in the computer hardware industry as an engineer. However, on the side, I am developing a video game that takes place in Madurai. That's a whole other topic, and maybe you'll see more news about that in the future from me. But as for Vijay and how I started to become a Vijay fan, for me, I think the first Vijay movie that I think I remember watching is Ghilli, but the Vijay movie that really got me hooked onto Vijay was probably actually Thalapathy, which I think came out the year after Ghilli. And, I think it's just like Vijay's way of displaying like charisma and confidence and how to go about sticky situations like in his movies. Or what like got me to really look up to somebody like Vijay, or at least like his characters that he played in the movies. So yeah, and then I mean he also is a good performer, right? He has dance moves and all that stuff too, and but yeah, I think those are the things that really got me into Vijay.
I'm Shobitha. I'm from California. Lived here most of my life. I just graduated today, so I'm a psychology grad.
Congrats.
Thank you. And okay, I'm gonna get a little bit of flack for this. I'm a very late Vijay fan. But I'll backtrack a little bit. I was introduced to Vijay because we had to do an annual dance for Diwali when I was like 6 or 7, and the song was Jalsa from Bilu. So that's my introduction to Vijay. So though I wasn't a fan of him yet, I did like his dance. That was one thing I definitely saw and I admired growing up. Now, I became, let's say, official Vijay fan when I was 17. And I think the movie that changed it for me was Sachin. Like, honestly, his sense of humor, he's very cute. And I think that movie just kind of had everything that, like I guess a Vijay fan expects. Like it had romance, it had a little bit of action, for anyone who likes that. But mostly it's his sense of humor and his charisma that really carried it for me. And I guess that was my 180 from a don't like him so much to like an ardent Vijay fan. So yeah.
I'm Rahul. I became a Vijay fan in the early 90s, just like Iggy, older head. I would say Ner Ku Ner and Kadlik Maryada, like one of my favorites. I like the song, Oh Baby Baby. And, that's with Shah and Ajit, of course, and I just like his character, his charisma, his personality. Like in that "Oh Baby Baby" song, he was with his friends. At the end, I remember he like ripped up his bed sheets and stuff. So I just like the jovial personality of Vijay. From like the 1996 to 8 times, and of course everyone else mentioned the early 2000s youth, Tirumale, Tirupachi, Ali, and everything. So, I just like his character, his personality, his dance, his comedy, was very good. And back in the 2000s, up until probably even college, like I had a Vijay poster in my room that I got from like at Dindico in Tamil Nadu. So, he was definitely like a superhero for me. And I think in the 2000s, once Rajini kind of, fell off with like Baba and stuff, and all he had was Shivaji the Boss. Um, that's when like Vijay like 100 and probably 10% took over for me. Of course, everyone's gonna mention Ghilli and Pokeri, and definitely like new age films. Tupaki was the one where I felt like he reinvented himself, and I definitely liked his style. So Rahul, uh, uh, Seattle move பண்ணிட்டேன். I'm an engineer. I work for TikTok, and yeah, I'm born and raised in the East Coast of United States of America. Nandri.
Thank you all. We all know that Vijay actually started his career in 1992 with Naliya Tiruppu, but his introduction phase wasn't really easy. He met with a lot of criticisms, trolls, and negativity around him. So, what is your take on his earlier films like Naliya Tiruppu, Sindhu, Rasigan, Deva? Did you guys watch his earlier films, and how do you see him in that phase?
The earliest Vijay movies I watched a bit later, like in the late 2000s, like the Nali Tirpu, Sindhu Rasigan. Well, Rasigan I saw earlier. Nali Tirpu, Sindhu Deva, like that. And back then, I mean, sure, Vijay must have not been the most groomed-looking actor per conventional standards, sure, but
yeah,
I guess that's too much of a very stupid, superficial reason to get that much flack. Of course, he must have gotten flack for many other reasons. The fact that he is the son of a famous director and a singer as well, but otherwise, when you see Vijay, even back then, like from Nali Tiruppu, those early movies, Rasigan even included, you can see the fact that he was when it comes to like a commercial star, Vijay was complete. He had like the complete skills in him. நடிப்பு வருதுன்னா ஓரளவுக்கு வரும். Dialogue பேச நல்லா வரும். And he dances like no other. The energy, the charm, the attitude he does, like that. Watching him, I got inspired to dance. Besides, Chiranjeevi, because I grew up on Telugu movies as well, Chiranjeevi dancing also helped. And like the fights also, he's super agile, like unlike many others. Like he's just big, lean, long, fit guy who's just like, doing all kinds of kick-ups and all kinds of moves he can do. And plus, there's also comedy and the fact that he can try different genre, and like you can see that this guy had the potential to be a big complete star in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look back on those, I enjoy watching those movies. Like, for example, if I'm going to be honest, Manbimiga Manavan, the 1996 movie directed by his father, it's not a good movie, a great movie, but Vijay was a complete package in that. There were some moments where his dancing, his fights, everything were like in the 90s, they're probably at the best in that movie. So once in a while I'll watch it just for the physicality aspect of it. And of course, sometimes the dialogues he speaks as well. So he had it. He had what it takes to be a big star back then. He showed it. Unfortunately, there are a variety of reasons for people to nitpick him, and there still are even now.
Yes.
Which I think just enhances his personality. The fact that he has so many different kinds of oppositions against him, and the fact that he still fights and comes out on top is still inspiring for me. So
yeah, I mean,
anyways,
as far as the criticism and stuff, like if you look at it right now, it feels very unfair. And so there were like I think there's two reasons for it. One, the era that he got introduced in, but first, I think it's the fact that he was a director's son. And to kind of piggyback on what Vijay was saying, he came in kind of prepared. He didn't just come in because his dad made a movie with him. Like he put in the effort to learn how to dance. He put in the effort to kind of, for a 17, 18-year-old kid, he put in the effort to kind of gym a little bit before he made his introduction and so forth. So he put in work to make himself like a legitimate actor. And I think it was unfairly discounted just because his dad was his filmmaker. But the second part also, I think, with the dominance of Rajinikanth and Kamal Haasan during that era, I think like what else was left was a small kind of quota that could be filled. And during his phase, like he still had to deal with during that early 90s, like the Prabhu and Karthik were still somewhat relevant, right? Especially Karthik coming out with like a Ulit Talita every once in a while.
Yes.
And that phase also saw one of the things that we talk about, something I will talk about a lot. I think everyone will kind of agree. Vijay's one of his strengths. Vijay's strengths is his dance, right? But unfortunately for him, also in the early 90s, mid 90s, Prabhudeva decided to make his acting debut. So like, compared to everybody else in the industry, like the industry standard at that time, Vijay was an excellent dancer, far above average. But because like Prabhudeva came in and as a dancing phenom took over, that also kind of got suppressed. So in every aspect that Vijay was quite well-rounded for the 90s and so forth. But then like you take one particular aspect of it, there was always someone for that one particular aspect which was better, right? He also had to deal with the Prashants. He had to deal with the Ajay.
Prashantas.
Yeah, and then like, there's a lot of superficialness that came with it. So when you look at a superficial like lens, Vijay didn't fit the bill in the 90s. And he got a lot of heat not heat, but then a lot of harsh criticism, but he stuck with it. He could have quit, done something else. He took those blows, and now like it's an inspirational story to see where he's at right now.
Yeah, sure.
What to do next? So
yeah.
I think at the time, no one knew who Vijay actually was. And as someone speaking from heart about Thalapathy, like each day, I would say this, Vijay back then faced criticism. Vijay right now is facing criticism. And it's not just Vijay, it's any other actor. And the number one platform where most actors would get criticized is their fans on Twitter. They're always trolling for his dance moves, his acting and everything, but they're not understanding like all other films that, most actors did a really good job on. They just like to make more troll material because they're always sided with their fans. And it's not just coming from like other actors fans, like Ajit fans, Rajni fans. It's also coming from Vijay fans as well. Like I understand you're all diehard Vijay fans, but you guys don't have to be toxic towards your favorite fan base at the time. And so my point is that, Vijay, he came a long way and he's faced a lot of challenges. He's even facing challenges right now that he's transitioning himself to the political industry after Jana Nayagan. And there's so many of his fans that are like, yay, politics, let's go. He's doing something new. And there's other fans like us is like, Anna, what if படம் பண்ணுங்கண்ணா எதுக்கு தேவையில்லாத இந்த நேரத்துல நீங்க retire பண்ண போறீங்க. And that was one of me. That's literally me right now. Most of us, we want Leo 2. We want Master 2, because Lokesh was very interested to do a Master sequel. And so it would be nice to see Vijay do a sequel for one of his greatest films. Compared to most of the actors that are introducing today, they are all coming in unprepared and they're all nepotistic. Vijay is also a nepotistic actor, but he came in prepared, like what Vignesh said. And so, where he was back then compared to now, he went a long way. I would say, definitely not a straight line, obviously. I would say more like an exponential function. He started off slow and then he quickly rose up in 1996, and then he kept going up and up and up in the mid 2000s and the late 2000s era. I mean, despite all his films becoming so mid, during the 2000s era and some of his films that didn't work, he at least learned something that, he shouldn't collaborate with these people anymore. He should just focus on choosing better scripts. And I still to this day will say to Vijay, if I were to give him feedback, if he's still going to pursue acting, is to choose better scripts. And I know we all love him at heart. We will make your films a success, but we just want one film from Vijay that will satisfy the whole, not just Vijay fans, but the whole audience. So I would say this. Vijay is still a flawed actor today, but we still love him from heart.
Movie Onakara, which started off a new game for him. He got his big breakthrough. And honestly, a lot of people don't mention that a lot. After Puvi Onakara, he grew his fan base, but Vijay also started to have a lot of female fans. So to the female fans that we have here, I wanted to hear your take. How do you see Vijay from where he started, like his Puvi Onakara days till now?
I would say I like how he gained his confidence. I think with that confidence, he was able to build a great fan base from the 90s and till now. I think he built like a good fan base with his confidence. So I think gaining that confidence gave him that momentum. So that gave him like the space to like prove himself.
So what I noticed is that I think at the beginning of his career, he is really a director's actor, which would mean that, I feel like a director needs to know how to utilize the skills that he already has. I feel like maybe I really feel like his dad didn't really know how to do that for him, so you can see in his first couple films that he's just not really confident. He's doing all of these things that are like so new, and he's not too good at it until, Puve Onakara, where I feel like the director really knew how to utilize his skills, his romance, the innocence. I think that came out really well in that film, and even the films after that. I mean, think about it, even Nayagan, it came soon after, and even that was really good. I loved the rivalry between Vijay and Surya, right? So I think that he's done a really good job gaining confidence. So, I mean, he used to be a director's actor, and now after gaining confidence and, gaining enough experience, now he knows what to do in front of the camera. So he does not need as much guidance as he needed back then. Yeah.
If I would have talked for us, it is like we did not really watch like the first beginning from his career. Like it is a way too back for us. Like Puvi Onakara, I think I've also watched it, but like not like at the time. But I think that with Puvi Onakara, he knew how to act, and in Nali Tirpim, it was like what Shobitha said, like it was very new, like he did not knew. And I think like with Puvi Onakara, he already got to know how he can act like a soft type of person. And if you look at him at the time, he looks really soft. So it connected really much. And at that time, you can also like kind of see and like he gained a lot of fans because it really matched with his looks. And I think from that, a lot of people became a fan, I guess. And the confidence.
And I also agree with her, but like sometimes I do feel like Vijay's hate now is like kind of forced, So, but in the beginning it wasn't. I feel like he also didn't know what he wants as an actor, like what kind of genre is his type. But then he kind of tried Puvi Onakara, and it kind of suited him because it just suits his personality and his looks, like she said. He looks very cute in that movie, right? So and it was really nice to watch it, and I also do feel like he kind of knows what he wants now, so he's kind of carefully choosing his movies. But I also think he kind of knows, like, even whatever movie I'm doing, his fans still gonna love it. So I feel like he's playing safe right now. because he knows his fans gonna make it a hit. But I do want him to explore some other genres because I really like him as an actor. And he has potential, but he has to find good scripts.
But that was the time where he was actually doing, he was finding his grounds. Like after Puvi Unakara, he did Kadalukku Mariyadai, Thullal Tullum. Like he was doing films that made him a household name. But I also feel that Vijay didn't hesitate to do a couple of experiments during that time. So if you guys have seen Priyamudan, Kannukku Nilavu, these are films that I feel that deviated from his usual family-oriented films. We saw a different Vijay. So
I always wish that he got more appreciation for Priyamudan and Kannukku Nilavu.
Yes.
Kannukku Nilavu, yeah. That's what it is. Right? But I know that he was scared to do movies like that because of the response that it got after. Even though his performance was great, even the movie was good, it's just that, people, I guess, they weren't used to seeing him in those type of performances. So he, kind of geared towards playing it safe.
Early on, he was kind of like a director's actor, and whether the dad actually did enough to bring him along before is actually a very important point, because if you actually look at S.A. Chandrasekhar's movies, he relied heavily on Vijay and a couple of movies of Rajinikanth. There's not much for a director to do there. So he's more of a story guy, but he's not someone who brings performance out of an actor, right? So we don't know how much S.A. Chandrasekhar really did get out of Vijay in his first movies. So that's a very valuable point that Shobitha brought out. And the other thing that I would like to say about Vijay too is when you look at him as a personality outside of the cinema, out of his acting and dancing, it's a very subtle, very attractive, thoughtful person. So it's almost we all know somebody in our life that doesn't really speak out too much, he's not very vocal or hyper, but they're a very good observer. So I feel Vijay is someone who, when he worked with some of these other directors, like a Fazil and so forth, he was able to absorb more from those directors. And I think that kind of gave him a launching pad that he didn't have early on in his career. And I think that's a very good point that Shobitha brought on, that, I don't think he had the right training or foundation from an acting point, or a good example from an acting point when he got launched initially in 92. And he picked up on it with every single movie. When he worked with other directors, I think he took a little bit back, and that helped out. Because he got different, more exposure to different professional entities in the industry. And I think it gave him an opportunity to absorb more. I think what Shobita's point was that when S.C. Chandrasekhar brought him on, I think it's just go out there, this is the dialogue, go do something. I don't know if they had guidance in the beginning.
I think working with different directors, I guess gave him more perspective. There's different ways to go about in certain scenes.
Yeah. Well, it's a different experience as well. He worked with Vikraman in Puvi Unakara, Fazil in Kadalukku Mariyadai. So he was working with different directors, and he didn't even hesitate to work with newcomers as well. Thullal Tullum was with Elil. He was a newcomer. What do you think if Vijay chose to do more films like Priyamudan and Kannukku Nilavu? Do you think that Vijay would have seen this much of success today?
I'll be honest, when it comes to Vijay's introductory stage, I haven't seen too many movies. So I've seen Priyamudan, I've seen Kadalukku Mariyadai, Friends, Kushi was much afterwards, but looking at films like Priyamudan and stuff like that, I think that he, that was definitely an experimental type of film for him, to do a negative shade character, and that was the first of its kind. He may, if he did more movies like Priyamudan, he would have definitely become more of a villain character, maybe. Now, I think a lot of the 90s movies in general, not necessarily just Vijay movies, but they were all like love stories and stuff. So,
true.
he was definitely like a love hero. Up until like the 2000s when he decided, hey, why not try like something mass masala or something like that. I think like, if he just stuck to like being the love hero, he would have, I don't know if he would have, don't think he would have gotten the success he's gotten to today. I think if he maybe did more roles like Priyamudin or tried to do something like that where he innovates himself, maybe we would have seen a different type of Vijay, like not someone who's maybe consistent. But movies like Priyamudin show like that he's definitely like a good actor.
Yeah, I would say like Ashwin said, Vijay in the 90s was definitely more family oriented. He was a lover boy. Most of those movies were based on that. A little more family and lover topics. Not sure if he would have been able to survive in the climate because we had chocolate boys like Surya and Madhavan, and of course Prashant and Jeans and a few other movies that showed like the lover boy aspects. And surprising that he did reinvent himself. During the time that the mass hero that we had was Rajni in the 90s who ruled that with Baba and Savaji in the 2000s. So it was surprising that Vijay had to reinvent himself to become like a mass hero. And I think that's where like he shines and that's where his like strengths are. And a lot of people said that he's gotten a lot of hate. But one point that my cousin in Tamil Nadu was telling me is like to get all these fans and to be able to be like a superhero for like many people around the world, like that takes some sort of acting skills. He just stuck to the mass hero thing, and to be able to captivate an audience and be a superhero for a lot of people, that's acting skills in itself. Because a lot of people would joke, that we could do what Vijay does, but nobody can do it what he does or what Rajni in the 90s could do.
He had done more movies like that. I think his career trajectory would have been more of like a character artist, like similar to maybe what S.J. Surya is today, or like what actually more so probably what Chian Vikram's character, what is it? Acting career has, become into, right? Like he would have done like more different characters.
When I was a kid, I always thought that Vijay would have been a great Spider-Man if they made an Indian version of it.
I know what you're talking about.
Spider-Man.
I
don't know. I can't see Vijay as Spider-Man. That's just me.
Yeah, when Vijay cosplays as the Spider-Man, it's like the Buddyville comedy, right?
Yeah, in the Vasira, like Snega spills sambar on him, and then tells the waiter to get some change of clothes. But he's like brings a Spidey costume. He wears that back in home in the auto. That
comes back home in that costume. Yeah.
I heard I heard apparently rumors and leaks that that Basigra Spider-Man is going to cameo in Beyond the Spider-Verse.
And the source is, trust me, bro.
Trust
Even Pudiya Gite, that movie was quite underrated from Thalapathy, in my opinion. I feel like with that movie, I think that was the only movie that he acted with Meera Jasmine, right?
Yeah, true.
I think that was quite underrated.
He acted with Meera Jasmine, Kalabavan Mani, who was another great. That was it had a really great idea for a movie, actually. Okay. The Sarathi character is also something else. Mm-hmm. I wanted to talk, when you mentioned that movie, I was just thinking about that movie a second ago, Shiny.
Yeah.
That in the climax when Vijay gets into an accident, he hits his head and it's in the hospital.
Yeah.
There's that one moment where he acts in that scene where that really moved me. Like when he screams and he actually gets hurt and then he's in the hospital and then he's blacking out and he's like, He's such an optimistic, positive character throughout the movie, but at that moment, you can see that he's actually afraid of death.
He
says he's never afraid of death, but all of a sudden he's just like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then he starts blurting out like who he is. My name's Sarathi, age 27. And all this, he's trying to like get everything out and stay awake, but it's like, that moment that really shook me. That's like, that was one of the earliest moments that I felt Vijay really, as an actor, he moved me so much. At that scene in the hospital when feels like he's gonna die.
Yeah.
I know when you were talking about that moment, and then you mentioned.
But initially, that film had a negative ending as well, like Priyamudin.
Yeah. Sarathi intended to die, but then they changed it.
They changed it again.
They had to. Yeah. I remember that part came. My mom purposely turned off the TV just for not making me not watch that part. She didn't want because back in the day, I think Tamil parents, like especially parent moms, like would not like make you watch negative parts of movies.
Yeah. No, that's a typical thing, you know.
No, our family was different. They wouldn't mind the violence or anything. When the kissing scene came, that was a definite no-no.
Same.
Then on the TV, send us to the room. When you actually watch it, there are curses.
Chop up, no problem. Kissing scene,
when Rajini cuts the guy's head off in Chandramukhi, okay, no problem. When Vijay kissed Jyotika and Kushi, like he was scolding me for days because I watched this scene, something like that. It was just, yeah, actually, I don't know. Initially, I didn't like Kushi that much because of that ending. I was just like, fuck. Because of that scene, I got scolding from my dad, and that's why I didn't like that movie. But then afterwards, when I rewatched it, I'm just like, dude, this is actually a great movie. Besides the whole getting scolded for that scene.
Yeah, I feel like
honestly, Kushi for me is pretty memorable because I just love the little ego battles between Jenny
characters. Yeah. The drama.
I think it's really well done, and I feel like that's the first time we've seen like a female character be this jumping shot, and then she's still like the heroine of the movie and not like a side character, because usually loud personalities would usually be like a side character, but like
or comedic.
She's so cool. Like I feel like Jenny from Kushi is so cool. Like I'll never forget this. She was like, she's like, I'm bored, so I want to do an MS, and I was like, great, amazing. Like I love that for her.
But Kushi was a fun film, like Kushi and even Sarakana. The Vijay that we actually were celebrating in Sachin came from that time. Like,
I was going to ask a question because we're talking about directors and influence on Vijay's career, right?
Yeah.
From the standpoint of K.S. Ravi Kumar, without him doing Minsara Khanna, do we get Sachin down the road, right? So it's interesting that you said the exact same thing. I'm actually like,
yeah, because those films are the ones that led to his emergence, like even before Minsara Khanna, once more, Coimbatore Mappillai had such
good
Love
one.
Today. Yeah, Love Today.
You Love Today.
And even after that, there was even Vasigara like that. I felt
like afterwards, like after Kushi, we just purposefully chose those kinds of films like Friends, Badri.
Yes, Friends.
I have to appreciate S.J. Surya for that, because I think because of Kushi, he gets that tough guy persona. So like that's a new characteristic for him.
That switched
portray on screen.
Yeah, that turned him differently. Like Kushi was a transformation for him as well. But in between, like films like Tamilan, I don't know, much people don't speak about Tamilan. It's like
that's the film.
The lawyer one, right?
Lawyer
one, yeah.
Like
and that's the film was great. Priyanka Chopra sang her first Tamil song, right?
Yeah.
Yes, acting debut and singing debut. That was incredible.
And her acting debut, exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, the court scene from Tamaran, they basically repeat in a movie called Sukran, which is
It was also a lawyer.
It's copy paste the whole scene, the dialogue, narrative, everything. So that's kind of fun.
I feel like Tamilan is one of those movies that has a great idea. Like a young coming lawyer, he's so casual, but then all of a sudden he becomes responsible, and then he realizes that what people really need is to know their laws and their rights.
Exactly.
So how does he bring it to them? And the idea is super. Climax is on the dialogue. ஒருத்த வந்து இந்த ரிலிஜன் இந்த படிக்கிறாங்களோ ஒவ்வொரு இந்தியன் குடிமகனும் அடிப்படை சட்டம் தெரியணும்னு சொல்லி he says that thing. Like if they really went more with that in the movie, it would have been great. Except that's why I felt really the romantic side plot and
the film was like like kind of Mudalvan, because Vijay actually missed Mudalvan, so Tamilan was like kind of a replacement to that. I felt like that, and Tamilan also it's like a seed. Because Vijay started off his career with Naalai Thiruppu with a social message-oriented film. And his father is also known for that. And afterwards today, we know that Vijay has done a lot more like that. But Tamilan was like a film that started off that for him.
When he did Puvi Onakaga and then he took off without his dad's support, I felt like his main goal was to get his name in the household amongst Tamil Nadu, at least get a good name. At that time, we had Prashant and Ajit. They were like the Chocolate Boys, and then there were a lot of girl fans for those actors. So I believe that when he was doing Priyamudin, like I think he was the first hero to break that stereotype of romantic movies, the chocolate boy characters. When he did Priyamudin, yeah, it was a big risk in his career because of him being 100% the villain. Well, I don't know if the movie went well or not, but it was a great attempt.
It was a decent.
It actually did
like
well. Yeah. It did well.
It did well. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he went back to his usual comfort zone, love movies. But I feel like it was more of the 2000s where he did his love movie, and then 2003 he took off with this action hero. But yeah, I hope. But like I always wish that if he did experimentals like Priyamudan and Kanukul Nilavu, maybe we could have I would have felt that, okay, Vijay would have been like Rajini, a character artist and a mass masala hero. That's what I felt.
I think it was intentional in the sense that, see, one of the things that people like, one of the main critics that you can give for Vijay is that sometimes he doesn't choose a good script. But I feel like in the world, like when it came to like the well-being or welfare of his career, he always chose the right genre, right? I think like he calculatedly entered or took movies that fit in a genre where no one else could compete with him. Because when we were entering that 2000s, like that starting point of 2000s, you had like movies like Sedu come out. And then that movie with Surya, I'm blanking out. Nanda. Yeah, Nanda. Come out and so forth. So like there were some very strong actors that had put on some very strong performances in these like negative roles. So given the time and the context as well, I think he kind of intentionally curated his career to go into avenues where he could hit that success, right? Instead of unnecessarily trying to compete with something that is going well, like, you know, you got the Pitamagans and everything coming out, but then those guys can't necessarily do what Vijay could do. Those guys could not do like a Minsara Khanna. Those guys could not do like a Sachin. Or even a Tirupachi, right? Like, yeah, Vikram did Sami, but then like, if you look at Tirupachi, like balancing like someone who is that hero types, but then also the comedy that comes in Tirupachi, like, I think he kind of curated his career to go into a specific genre where like he succeeded. I think that might be why he didn't choose more scripts like Priyamadan.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Like he chose the path purposefully to like kind of like Rajinikanth.
So that concludes the first part of this Roundtable series. I hope you all enjoyed it. We had so much fun speaking about his initial phase of his career. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you all in the next part.